All right, welcome into the show. Creative Crypto here. And I was just logging on my computer to check Warren that I do once a day, and I see this liquidity has really fallen off. I know it had been dipping the last few days. I think last night it was like at 800,000. So kind of concerning, to be honest, guys. I'm not really sure why this is happening. I have a few theories. One could be that there was a lot of big whales that came in the first week or so and just did bonds. They didn't do any stakes, and their bonds have since matured and they are just exiting with the liquidity. And that would take a hit here. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to dive into the on-chain data for Warren, and we're going to see what's going on here and see if we can get to the bottom of what's really going on here, because this is a lot of liquidity to be draining out of here. You know, I've only been selling the last couple days after we dipped under 1 million, because I told you guys that was my strategy, is watch the liquidity and see when to start taking profit. Looking back, I probably should have done this a lot sooner. You know, you just get addicted to building this up. I finally hit the 50,000 staked bonds here, and it was just going extremely well. So it's kind of disappointing to see this go down. The one positive is the Warren price has actually gone up. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it can actually drain the liquidity even faster, because now this is higher price and so on and so forth. We'll have to see what becomes of this. I do think the team here could do a couple things to save this project here. They could, number one, get in touch with Richard Hart and see if he would be willing to inject some pulse into here, because that's what CZ did for the Binance Smart Chain early on. Is they had the Binance Foundation, which was injecting a lot of BNB into these dapps. So if you guys were in the dapps back in the day, the BNB dapps, a lot of the reason why those did well is because of the Binance Foundation. Tron had the same thing with the Tron Foundation, and they would inject liquidity into these dapps and protocols on their chain to make their chain look good, to make it look popular, and to bring new users in. It's a great marketing strategy to actually do that, because you just inject it into your system and you keep the liquidity in-house, and, you know, people just move it around and do things with it. Yeah, some people probably cash some out, but there's a lot of liquidity backing, you know, the BNB chain and Tron. Not so much here on Pulse, but there is enough to where, you know, people can't cash out large sums of Pulse, so they would keep most of it in the system. So, I mean, Richard Hart is sitting on so much Pulse, it's not even funny. He could easily inject 20, 30 million Pulse in here and not bat an eye, okay? And it would actually help the ecosystem to do that, because I don't think they have a Pulse Foundation that does that and supports their projects, which they really should, because, you know, a project like this to not be supported by the founders is kind of heartbreaking, to be honest, you know, because this protocol, all it needs is just constant liquidity coming in to keep this thing going strong. And it would actually keep it sustainable, because the price doesn't get too crazy and too outlandish to where the people coming in later are paying a big premium, versus other coins and other meme coins and other staking protocols, to where, you know, yield farming and such, where you come in kind of late, you're paying an inflated price. With this, it's really not been that inflated. So that's one idea. You know, I also think, going back, you know, they should have this to where if you bond, you have to stake. There's no bonding without staking, because this is obviously what's happening. What I think is, there was big whales coming in with hundreds of thousands of dollars bonding, and then at the end of their bonds, they just cashed out all that liquidity. And so that has caused the system to drain out super fast, versus if they had been staking, it might have been more sustainable over time. So that's another little thing to look at there. But I wanted to show you guys, because I had made in my first video on Warren back on December 22nd, okay, I made a tester bond here with $5. It was actually $4.80. And it got me 355 bonds staked there. And I told you guys I was going to hold that and see what happens at the end when I reached 175%. So we're going to check on that, and I'm probably going to cash that out now, because, you know, now's the time. But you can see, when I first got in, guys, you know, the price was at 0.01569. So it hasn't gone up at crazy amounts. The thing, though, the starting liquidity, you know, when they first launched the first day, this thing was pre-filled with at least $500,000 of liquidity. So, could have been the founders. This could also be connected to the Carol devs, because Carol also, their version 2 has drained the last couple of days as well. So I don't know if they're connected somehow. Possibly they are, which would be a bad thing for people in Warren. But maybe they're not. Maybe it's just a coincidence. We shall see. We shall see what happens. Like I said, there's still a possibility that this can be saved, but the team is going to have to do some legwork. And number one, they're going to need to reach out to Richard Hart and see if they can get an injection of capital into this protocol and basically bond it with the Warren and then burn those warrants. So basically, if they can get like a 10 to 20 million pulse injection into here, they would bond that, which adds it to the liquidity pool, and then burn those bonds. So then nobody can cash those out at the end. So it's just an injection of capital. Maybe Richard Hart would agree to do that if he has the assurance from the team that they will burn the bonds, or he could do it himself and burn the bonds. And so that's a possibility. We shall see. But let's go and let me check my tester deposit that I showed you guys before, because that seems to be the best strategy, because this strategy, the compounding strategy, has worked extremely well to grow my stakes, but the problem is I haven't been able to cash much out. Okay, this is not completely accurate over here, because when you rebond, you actually have to add more liquidity. So I've actually only cashed out about $60 from this total stake, which is really disappointing on my end, but that's the way I wanted to play this, because I wanted to go for the high risk, high reward. I was okay with, losing some here, because I'm going to cash this out. So it'll actually be $90 that I've gotten back. And I put about 3 million pulse into here. Now the pulse price has pumped. So, that's about 1/3, if that, US dollar value that I'll be getting back. So it's a give and take here with these protocols. And, it's tough to find the perfect strategy to do. I said going in, if you watch my first video, that I either recommend compounding 100% or not compounding at all. Just letting it build up and getting the hold bonus until you max out that stake and then cashing out. And you're actually going to make more. I'll show you guys on that. Let me switch wallets here and you can see that. Okay, so this is the same tester one that I had in the video. You see here at the time, this was worth $5.57. So the bond has went up, doubled, and the profit that I made has tripled. So basically I've done a 3x on this in less than 40 days. So that's pretty damn good. Okay, that's pretty damn good, to be honest. And that's probably what's causing this liquidity to drain out, is a lot of people did this strategy to just get in, hold, and wait, get the hold bonus where you're earning, almost an extra. I mean, this is earning 4% a day here. So it's going super fast. And, to last 39, 40 days like this is pretty damn good, so profit was available to be made here. Now, it's unfortunate for the people that joined later. If you joined within the first week or about the first 10 days, you're looking like you're making some money. Okay, even after that, probably the first 2 weeks, you're in the clear. But the problem is the people that joined after, they're getting hit kind of hard here if this liquidity doesn't recover. Okay, now, can it still recover? There's a possibility. Okay, we'll see what happens. So I'm going to sell this, because we're going to take this. This bond actually hasn't fully reached its max yet. The max will be about 620 Warren, but we're just going to take what we can here, because we're at a 3x and that's good enough. Also, I was looking at another account that I had, and the status of these bonds isn't changing on their UI. So I think maybe that was causing some FUD, because people thought that the stakes were actually earning more than 175%, but they really weren't. It just, the UI wasn't actually updating the ended stakes, and you weren't actually earning, even though this was continuing to tick up for bonds that had ended, you weren't actually getting this up here. Okay, I was actually tracking that on a different account. So that was probably causing some FUD, because people thought, well, you're not getting 175, you're getting way more than 175, but you really weren't. Okay, so you can see I just cashed that out. So if you got in the first day, or, the first couple of days that you saw this video and did this strategy, you just 3x your money in basically a month and 10 days. So that's a success. That's a success. I'm not saying Warren has been a failure at all. It has been a great success, but I was hoping that it could last a lot longer than this. And especially for the people like me with my main account that was reinvesting and rebonding and compounding. Because guys, I put my own pulse in here. I didn't get any type of influencer bonds. I know that's around. I know that they have influencer bonds for people, and I did not. I put my 100% my own pulse in here. I took some out of Pulse 3D. I took about half of my holdings here from Pulse 3D, and I put that into Warren with the hopes of then feeding it back in. Okay, and so I'm trying to do that here, but of course, it's probably not going to be the same amount that I took out. So I probably should have followed my first strategy, which was reinvest for 30 days and then start taking earnings from the 30-day mark. But it was addicting to grow this, and it was compounding so fast, and you get sucked into this. And so it's unfortunate, but that's the way we are. So guys, let's do some on-chain investigation of Warren. Let's put on our Sherlock Holmes hat. Let's cue the mystery music, and let's dive in to see what is really happening here on-chain for Warren. Where is the liquidity going? Where else would people rather put their pulse? There's not much going on pulsechain right now. What is really going on behind the scenes? And the great thing about blockchain, nothing hides. Everything's on chain. So put on your Sherlock Holmes hat. Let's cue the mystery music and let's dive in. All right, so the tools we will be using to solve this mystery of Warren and where the liquidity is going is OtterScan and the regular contract, because this one has trouble viewing the transactions, but this one's good to dive in to look more in depth of what's going on. Now this one we can look at, these are all the transactions happening here. You notice a lot of sells, okay? Now, how we can filter some of this is look at the transaction fees. The higher fees they paid, that means the more Warren that they sold. So we want to look for the big whales. We want to look for the big bucks. Where is the money going? Okay, where is this going? So this is a pretty big one here, 750. Let's see how much they took out. With blockchain, guys, you need to always follow the money. Okay, so this is the one guy. You can see this guy has about 1 million pulse, not too big. So after they sold their Warren, they took that here and they deposited it into PulseX. So basically, they took the pair of wrapped pulse with the DAI and just deposited it into the PulseX farm. Kind of a slow earner, but I guess they figure that's better than Warren. Time will tell. In the beginning, it wasn't, but right now, possibly. So just going back to the old staple PulseX, kind of boring. Not really much going on there. Let's see if we can find some other big whale accounts, guys. Let's see if we can find... I found a couple that I bookmarked last night. Oh, here's a good one. Let's see what this guy's up to. Let's dive in, guys. Let's get to the bottom of this mystery. Okay, so this is from this wallet. So this account doesn't have much in here. It looks like they're moving some around. Here was their sell about an hour ago. They removed the liquidity, and they sent the pulse to this address. Let's see, what do we got here? This looks like a different contract. What contract is this? So this is when we need this. All right, so let's see. Oh, Spark Swap. Interesting. I did see a lot of this last night. So did Spark Swap come in here and pump the liquidity to then drain it all out to then feed it back to their exchange? Possibly. I'm not sure. Spark Swap, it's just the classic yield farming. Not really going to make much there. You're going to pay a 2% deposit fee. You might be lucky to make a little bit of money if their Spark token does anything. So this guy's basically yield farming. All right. So yeah, that's what he's been doing, taking him out of Warren. And this is all the same contract going to Spark Swap. Okay, so got a couple yield farming here, PulseX and Spark Swap. Nothing too interesting, guys, to be honest. It's not something that I'm going to be doing. Yield farming to me doesn't really interest me. Let's find another big whale. See what this asshole's doing. What's this guy up to? So, sold the Warren. They claimed all stakes. Deposit into here. Another smart contract. Okay. This could actually be Master Chef. Okay, so this is a Master Chef. Could be the PulseX. It doesn't say PulseX. Let's see what it says. It's just a Master Chef contract. So this is just a Master Chef for some type of yield farming. Not sure which yield farm this is. Oh, Sushi Swap. Well, it could just be a clone. It doesn't mean it's actually Sushi Swap. I don't think Sushi Swap is on pulsechain. So the plot thickens. All right. Oh, here's a big one. Here we go. This is a lot of gas. Let's see what this person's up to. What are you up to, you little fuckhead? Alright, so this guy is selling, claim all stakes, deposit. Here we go again. It's the same contract. B2, yep. So I'm not sure which this is, which yield farming this is. It must be some other yield farm. I'm not sure, but so it looks like we got duped by these big yield farmers that are coming in for a quick buck, and they're moving right along. So far, it looks like we just found some normal people. I'll show you one though that's a bot that I found last night, and that's the concerning thing, is seeing bots that are draining the system, because that you have to wonder why. Who set up the bots and why are they draining it now? Alright, let's continue our investigation. So here's one that we saw. This is from a different wallet. What is this douchebag doing? So we gotta sell, remove liquidity, swap exact tokens, stake. So where are they staking? What contract is this? Stake. Is this a new? What is this? Is this a clone contract? Is that what's going on? Is there a hot new Warren clone that we need to be on the lookout for? What is this that they're staking? Interesting. This looks like Spark Swap again, because it's got a lot of liquidity tokens in here. Contract is not verified. Why would someone send pulse to an unverified contract? A lot of pulse of that. Let's go back here. So this person is selling, removing the liquidity, swapping, transfer. Here's who they transfer. Let's see. So 840 DAI to this wallet. Go back to their own wallet. Interesting. Or wait. So this wallet went to here. Is this the same? So basically they sent it to another wallet. So let's see how much DAI this wallet has in total. So where is the DAI? This isn't the real DAI. This is the fake DAI. This is not DAI from Ethereum. So I'm not seeing too much red flaggish transactions here, guys. Let's check out this other one here, and I'll show you the bot one that I found last night. So this one, let's see what this asshole's doing. So we got the sell here. We got a deposit. They sent some pulse out. Now what contract is this? Oh, that's the same one we were looking at before. This is that same Master Chef. This is a Spark Swap. Oh no, this is on PulseX. So they sent it to PulseX. So nothing too crazy there, but let me show you the bot that I found last night. Okay, so it looks like the bot has stopped because they must have finished draining what they needed to drain, because you can see literally every single hour, guys. Okay, this contract with the 426, that's the Warren contract. So you can see every hour, sell, remove liquidity, sell. I mean, a person is not doing this every single hour. There's no way. So they have 22 million pulse in there, and yeah, I don't know what they're doing with it, why they're just draining it out, but I guess they'd rather just hold it in their wallet. So yeah, guys, that's the on-chain data. That's what's interesting about blockchain, is you can always find on-chain data and really see what is going on. Even with pulsechain, where the explorers are kind of wonky, like this one doesn't show the transaction, so then you got to use the otter scan here. All right, so at the end of the day, you can't deny that the liquidity has drained very fast. And if there's a recovery plan in place, I'll be interested to see, because at this current pace, this same time tomorrow, I don't think there's going to be any liquidity left, because this has drained, I want to say, $600,000 in 24 hours. So that's pretty damn fast, guys. Okay. It's either the founders taking their cut and cashing out, or like I said, some big whales that came in with 100 grand each, and they turned that 100 grand into 300 grand. You saw my tester account. Okay, you got a 3x no matter what you put in. If you were to put in on this video here, when you saw it, if you would have put in $100,000, you would just have cashed out 300,000. Okay, and that's a big hit. That's only 2 people that need to do that, and that would drain the liquidity $600,000. So that could be the possibility, guys. That really could be. That's just an eye-opener for this Warren/Carroll style protocol, is they need to have it mandatory that you stake. There should be no bonds without a stake. Because yeah, you end up making more, but it's a slower drain, not just all at once. Because when the liquidity goes too quickly down, it causes a lot of FUD and people get nervous and therefore they sell. But if it's just slowly here and there and then it bumps up when people reinvest, and then it would be a lot better. So it's unfortunate. I don't think there's anything nefarious unless somehow these devs are connected to the Carol devs, which I don't think they are. But like I said in the beginning of the video, it's kind of ironic that the Carol version 2 contract on base drained right about the same time that Warren has started to drain. Now, it could be the same whales that joined Carol joined Warren, and maybe it's the devs from Carol actually invested in Warren, and they're the ones that are draining the liquidity. Who knows? We may never get to the bottom of it, but the main thing is it's a learning lesson to always take some profits along the way and don't get hypnotized by reinvesting and seeing this grow. Because I found myself doing that as well when I probably should have started taking profits, but I thought that there was a good chance this could get a lot higher, because right now there's really not much to do with your Pulse chain. Pulse is going to have some competition coming up here throughout 2024. There's a lot of new layer 1 and layer 2 blockchains coming out, and a lot of them I'm doing the test nets for to potentially get airdrops, and I'm testing out those blockchains. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them don't really work, some of them work really well. And I'm telling you right now, Pulse is going to have a lot of competition coming up in the next few months, 6 to 8 month range. And we're going to see what really happens, because these other blockchains are getting massive venture capital funding, where Pulse chain had a sacrifice phase where the founder is just sitting on all that cash and isn't injecting it into the system and isn't supporting the protocols built on its blockchain. Because if you want your blockchain to do well and you want the people to build on your blockchain, you need to support their projects. And how do you do that? You inject capital and you continue to keep these projects afloat and make it last. Why do you think Drip lasted so long, guys? It wasn't the community. It wasn't Forex Shark. It was CZ injecting a lot of BNB into Drip. Why did it last for 2 years? CZ, okay? A lot of the protocols are like that. You guys just don't know about that, but I'm telling you, that's what's happening, all right? That's why CZ is no longer involved with Binance, guys. But not saying it's because of that. It's because of what they did on the exchange. But, there's nothing wrong with injecting liquidity on your own blockchain. There's no laws against that. It's not illegal. You can inject, it's just like a company getting a venture capital to inject money into their system. It's the same kind of thing. So maybe the team can salvage this, but they better reach out quick, because like I said, 24 hours from now, this is most likely, if it keeps this up, this is going to be zero. All right, so take what you can and get out, because at this point, as you can see in this video, it's already gone down 50,000. So at this point, maybe just a couple more hours is going to last. So yeah, unfortunate. I'm sure if it does drain out, they'll launch a version 2, just like Carol did, and that's fine. But I'm not getting in that, because if this is how these protocols are going to go, I'm not interested in this anymore. I'm done with these style protocols at this point. Unless this can recover and they come up with something. But at this point, guys, if you got in and just held and got that 3x, congratulations, because you made a lot more than I did. Because I was the idiot that reinvested and thought, oh yeah, we're going much higher, we're going to 5-10 million. I could have seen that if we got the proper liquidity into here. The problem is Pulse chain doesn't have that liquidity. People aren't coming into Pulse chain because there's not that much liquidity around. And for a project to reach where this needed to reach, like TitanX, for example, okay, Ethereum, that's another one I forgot to say. Vitalik Buterin, the Ethereum Foundation. Why do you think TitanX is doing so good? Why do you think Shiba Inu pumped up to top 10 in market cap? Vitalik Buterin, the Ethereum Foundation, injecting capital into their blockchain. That's what needs to be done here, guys. So unless that happens, we're pretty much done. But, there's a chance. There is a chance. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I don't put it past the Warren team to be able to fix this. But like I said, there's a lot that needs to happen. There's a lot of hurdles in the road. And unfortunately, we're faced with our current reality, and that is a liquidity of 250,000 that is draining faster than a keg at a frat party. So guys, that's really all I had for you. I hope you enjoyed the on-chain investigation. I hope you enjoyed this video. This isn't the type of videos I like to make. I like to make positive videos about trying to make money. So in future videos, stay subscribed and subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be showing you guys how you can get some potential airdrops for new blockchains coming out. And you don't even need to use real money. These are all going to be on test nets, where you just have to test out the current features on the test net, and you could potentially be eligible for massive airdrops. All right, guys, so that's what I'm going to be focusing on, because right now, with Warren going down, pulsechain isn't that interesting to me at the moment. Of course, we still got Pulse 3D. Great thing about this is, it's at the bottom here, and the big holders of this aren't draining this, and this thing could pump up really, really high. I mean, we're only at 24 million pulse in here. Okay, we were at an all-time high of like 97 million pulse. So yeah, this is what I want to focus on, because it's a lot better system than something like this, to where it's arbitrarily paying you out no matter what. Where, versus this, you're only getting divs as people come in and out. It's not just paying you, to inflate the tokens and everything. So that's it, guys. I don't want to dabble on anymore, but that's it for this video, and appreciate you guys. Hopefully there's better things on the horizon, and stay positive, and until the next time we will talk again, take care and take charge. Creative Crypto out.